Let's talk The Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 3, Afterthoughts, Part 1. Alright, Deadheads, I would like to get these videos out sooner, however, had some delays. Now, for anyone interested in the Afterthoughts, these videos are, a few days after the episode airs. That's when I would like to get them up, because I do want to watch the episode a second time. I do want to give members of the Matt family a good amount of time to be able to watch and then comment, and we can all discuss what went down in the episode, because there is some stuff in here I want to pull from the fans' feedback. So that is why, because I know I had a couple members asking me why I don't post the Afterthoughts right away. And that's why, because I do need to give at least 2 days to get all the members in the Matt family, because keep in mind, there's a lot of members that are in the UK or Australia that, from what I understand, they don't see it for a whole 12 to 24 hours after we do in the US. So we got to give enough people a chance to see the show and catch up and then comment, so we can pull the fan feedback. So that's out of the way. Let's move right along to this episode 3. Now, first off, it opens up with Glenn, and considering what happens in the episode, this episode that I would have to give a mid-great rating to. I watched it again, and as well as opening up with Glenn and what happens in the episode, it has incredible tension, especially for the opener. The opener, right after they show Glenn having Rick on the walkie-talkie, and I wrote this down, this part he tells Daryl, I love this, because there's a lot of talk even in the beginning and the end about making choices, and the choices you make have to be for the best of not the individual, not the individual's fears, or not the group's fears, but for the whole. You know what I mean? For the community as a whole. I love the direction that Rick was taking, especially since that was brought up in the beginning and the end, and it kind of bookend this episode. But Rick tells Daryl it's a risk that the herd is going to turn around. The bad back there will get worse, and I absolutely love that. And we do see that Daryl does decide to not listen and break away, but he ends up coming back. So I do like that. We do get a fact that half of the herd, as a rough estimate, is heading for the Alexandria safe zone. So that gives us an idea that half of the herd is heading there, and another half is following behind Sasha and Abraham in the car. Now, one thing that happens next is really important. Now, I'm not going to cover every single thing that happens in the episode. The stuff that's very obvious, I'm going to leave that up to you guys. You watch it, you see it, you know it, you can discuss in the comments. But one thing that you got to pay attention to is when the first dude number 1 dies, the red shirt from Alexandria gets his throat bitten out. When he dies, Michonne puts him down. Like it ain't nothing, pretty much, because that's what needs to be done. They are out there. They know, oh shit, he got his throat bitten out. The dude is, dead. And then Rick just runs his pockets, Rick has taken all the supplies out of his pockets, and he doesn't even show any sign of compassion. Now, we as viewers who have went on this journey with Rick and their gang, we understand that, we've seen it from the beginning. They have a job to do. This dude died. Yes, that sucks for his friends, his family, and everything else, but you need to keep it moving. The Alexandrians are looking at each other and looking down at what's going on, and that's going to be important later on. And then we do see Glenn, Michonne, and Heath, and I do love that he is one Alexandrian that stepped up with our regular cast that went and started attacking the walkers in the woods there. I believe Scott and dude number 2 and Annie and Nick, they go to help him out, and we kind of get the feeling throughout this episode that Heath, and a little bit of look at his backstory about, just from that little bit about going on runs, Heath has gone on runs. He has, seen some shit, but it was most likely controllable situations or low threat levels. That's what I wrote down for Heath. And that does play in very well with his storyline throughout this episode and his back and forth with Michonne. Now, after they kill the walkers there, we do get a ninja walker that bites dude number 2 on the shoulder. And not a lot of people, but some people are making fun of the ninja walkers or the quiet walkers. And we do have to understand, and I accidentally noticed this when I was rewatching that scene, because a lot of the minor complaints like, oh, that walker came out of nowhere, or this happened, there's always other things going on where I'm like, well, that's not really that big of a deal, so I never focus on it. But I was just so happened to rewatch the episode, and I knew it was coming up, and I noticed something. You have a group of people there. There's 7 people, rough estimated guess, real quick. I'm not going to sit here and go, okay, Glenn, Michonne, whatever. There's a good amount of people there, and Scott is in pain. He just got shot in the shin, or the calf. He's groaning out in pain. You have a couple people who are just talking. They just put down some walkers, especially for the Alexandrians that are ill-prepared for this situation. They might still be in some kind of, fog state of mind. They're not so clear, level-headed. They're not scanning the area like James Bond. They don't have their shit, perfected right now. They're like, whoa. Not only that, you hear some cracking and rustling around because characters are actually moving. And there probably should be more sounds because it leads us to believe that off-screen characters are moving. They're grabbing Scott, they're doing things. So there's movements. So it's not like sitting in a room where it's completely silent and this walker is, stepping up behind you and you hear leaves cracking. Between all the movement, between people talking, between Scott, groaning because he got shot in the friggin' leg, yeah, I can understand this dude just got bit. To me that doesn't seem like it was like, oh, stupid ninja walker. Again, it's things like that where I just don't focus on. Enid, when her parents got eaten, you have a big wall here. I'm sure that wall blocked out sound. On top of the wall, the walkers came behind the wall. On top of that, you have walkers coming that they see, and they make noise. Now, if the noise that we heard, and the parents and Enid probably heard, wasn't just those walkers in that wide open space, it's not easy to narrow it down. Like, you ever hear a noise and you're like, wait a minute, did that come from over there or over there? It kind of bounced. Plus, the parents were sitting there talking about fuses. See, so again, I don't think those are ninja walkers either in the beginning. I think there was real noises going on that could definitely block out the noises from the walkers coming right around the corner. That's just my little 2 cents on that matter. Anyway, dude number 2 has very good dialogue with Michonne, especially when he says, I wasn't crazy, I just gave up being somebody. That really hits home with Michonne, and we can see it on her face. Now, I know there was a couple people talking about Glenn and Maggie, that conversation kind of reflected them a little bit. To me, it doesn't even at all come close to reflecting Glenn and Maggie. And I will say that for me, it hits more home with Michonne and Rick. Now, keep in mind, again, I do have to stress this. I do not believe their relationship should enter the intimate realm. I do not believe that they should hook up and whatever, because I love how strong their relationship is now. I mean, I absolutely love that. For me, it's like their relationship is at a max, and making them a intimate couple only adds sex, because they are so close, you can't get any higher than that. That is probably the easiest way to explain it. And for me, it just feels like a cheap way to add on some more emotions. Like, oh, see, Rick definitely cares for her now because, he's banging her. For me, it feels like, yeah, Rick loves Michonne. He loves her like family right now. I don't think they need to add anything. But I will say that the conversation did seem like it was really hitting home with Michonne because, again, I'm not saying they're going to hook up, but Rick is a person that Michonne was able to become friends with, and in a way, him and the others as a whole, the other group as a whole, as a family, that's Michonne's Betsy. It brought her back from that, and he's better for it. Michonne is better for it. I just think that was the conversation there, even though it was a red shirt. I think it was very powerful, and I really enjoyed that scene. Glenn does tell Michonne something interesting. He says, if I get stuck, I will find a way to signal you. Now, when I first watched it, I clumped that together with Glenn stating, I will make a fire signal, and that's when you know the walkers are stopping, and I'm distracting them. If you don't see a signal, that means the walkers are coming for Alexandria. I wasn't able to set the fire. I clumped those together. When I rewatched the episode and Glenn tells Michonne, if I get stuck, I will find a way to signal you. I think that's very important, and again, I could be stretching with this whole Glenn is alive thing, but it just doesn't seem like they would put that dialogue in there. It could be for realism, because that seems like a very real thing to say. You would want to tell someone, go, if I get in trouble, I'm going to let you know. But it just seems like a little piece to the puzzle that, yes, Glenn, in fact, will signal them because he is stuck. Now, the dumbass on the walkie-talkie, the fact that there's so many comparisons between Season 1 and Season 6 between Glenn and Rick. I'm not going to go into all of them here, but I do want to highlight, I do love the walkie-talkie, and I do love how 6 and Season 1 mirror each other, because you have Rick trapped in a tank, with Glenn saying dumbass, and then you have Glenn essentially trapped by a dumpster, under a dumpster, in a dumpster, and he again says dumbass on the walkie-talkie to Rick, who you can spin it, who now Rick, instead of being surrounded in a tank, he's in an RV now surrounded by a bunch of walkers. So either way you look at it, I do love how that shit seems to mirror different scenes. Alright, Deadheads, I do apologize. This video is split into 2, but I am uploading them back to back, so when the second video is uploaded, you can either click on this annotation, it'll take you right to the video, or somewhere up in this corner, I think it's somewhere around here, there should be like an eye in a circle. Those are called cards. You click on those eyes and it'll drop down to 5 different videos. I usually put playlists in there for you that are relevant to the video you're watching, and other things, so you can click on those and there are different links. Got that second video coming right up, so thank you very much for the patience. Also, in the meantime, while you're waiting, leave your thoughts and opinions so far on everything we discussed about Episode 3 of The Walking Dead, Season 6, and let me know what you think about Season 6 starting off as a whole. I know it's only 3 episodes, but I am loving where the season's going, and I'm loving where it looks like it's headed. Alright, thoughts and opinions in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.